is a stunning morning. Welcome everybody to Connection Points Beyond Sunday. I am here in here twice. I've got my computer ready to, well, it's starting to record, and I'm going to make the most of this day, and I'm going to walk through the neighbourhood, which I thought would be pretty apt considering we're talking about connecting beyond Sundays. So this is my little experiment, and I've got my backup plan in case it all goes horribly wrong. I'll just run back home and we'll continue the call, but I think this should work. So can everyone hear me so far?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so I can do this. I can see a few of you. That's good. Excellent. Connection Points Beyond Sunday. So it is an absolutely stunning day. And I'm going to show you around my neighbourhood of North Balwyn while we're talking.
Now, it will cut out for a second as Evan goes off his Wi-Fi and onto 3G. And then he'll resume. Usually about now, if he's kept walking.
Yep. So
there you go.
Can you hear me? Yep.
Yeah, it was just jumping off Wi-Fi and onto 3G.
Exactly. 4G. Yeah. Okay. So everyone's got me now?
I'm old.
You're old. No.
I still call it 3G.
Beautiful. Great. Well, welcome everybody. Today, Connection Points Beyond Sunday. I'm just walking past St. Silas in North Balwyn. And I'm going to stroll through my neighbourhood and have this meeting with you all. And Jeff's pretty much got the idea. And it looks like, Jackie, are you outside as well? I think so. Yep. Beautiful. Great. So in this meeting today, we are going to just quickly talk about why, the importance of connecting beyond Sundays, which I'm sure you guys, thought a lot about that. And we're going to look at different ways of connecting beyond Sundays. And some of the, online stuff has overlap with, helping people to connect in different ways offline in a safe way, of course. Along the way, I'd love to hear your input about what's working for you, what you're trying. Yeah, so I want today to be sort of fairly conversational. So is that all good with you?
Oh, good. Yeah, sounds great.
Beautiful, great. And I need the exercise because I don't get out enough at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my presentation with you, and it should theoretically magically just work. So go to work, Anglican Diocese, Connection Points Beyond Sunday, share, and here we go. So let's kick it off. A couple of questions for you. I'm not going to be able to see you particularly well, but I'll be able to hear you as I can see in my slides. So I want to turn on your microphones and let's talk about this. What is your community currently doing beyond Sundays? And what do you want to get out of today's session? Question one, what are you guys doing at the moment that is helping people to connect online after Sunday services?
We have a phone roster, like a ring around roster, a pastoral care role, and certain people have got various people allocated to them. We do have the parish council meeting. However, I'm actually going to try to talk to parish council tonight about seeing if anybody's interested in having maybe Zoom chats. Just, yeah.
Yep, excellent.
We're having Bible study groups which are restarting this week, and we're looking at Habakkuk. We've got morning prayer service on a Wednesday, trying to get people together and just via Zoom and just talk. We're having an afternoon tea on Sunday via Zoom, which we've had a parish council meeting there. I'm meeting up with parish council every week, and we're via Zoom, and it's great for encouragement as I suppose for me as well as a pastor, having the encouragement of having a team behind me and pulling our ideas. And we're also doing the pastoral care phone calls as well, and amongst other things.
Excellent. Very good. Anybody else?
Yeah, for us, we're doing heaps. So Friday night, we've got 2 socials. We've got a kids social. So social call with the kids, 45 minutes. They just go crazy, and then they do like a bingo sheet, or they do a drawing or something like that. Then we've got the adult socials. So we played a trivia night was the most recent one. We've done online board games. Sundays we do tea and coffee before church. So everyone comes in with a tea and coffee, and we break them out into rooms. They have discussions just like you would normal church. And then Thursday nights is Bible study. So at the moment we're going through the Chosen series, and I think that's all. Then occasionally there's the WhatsApp, which is just a constant conversation with all of our people. So I think that's all we're doing at the moment.
Beautiful. Thanks, Brian. Anyone else? Excellent. Is there anything specific? Oh yeah, go.
One of the things which I've done in other parishes is to go to church in the morning and say morning prayer and invite people to join me. Well, we're doing that daily on Zoom. So half a dozen of us are meeting together daily to pray together.
Awesome.
Love it. This is good. This is all really good. Great. So yeah, I guess, a lot of the focus is how do we stay connected with our community, our people. And what I want to explore a bit today as well is how can we help empower our people to connect further to, their neighbours, the people who they interact with, even in the stage, of isolation that we're in now. So, look, the 4, reasons why, we want to be connecting is we've got God's hope and love to offer, and we are the salt and light, and Jesus' hands and feet here on earth at the moment, and we can do that offline and online. And as I said before, there's a hybrid of how we can do those, use both platforms together to be that. And so that's, one big reason why it's good to be helping our community to connect, but also to be able to empower our community to be able to reach further. People are looking for ways they can serve, and there's lots of things out there, and we can help to facilitate that as well. It doesn't mean we need to reinvent something or try and come up with this amazing program and be the hero of our community, but it's about all playing our part. So giving opportunities to provide practical help as well, just social connections. We're gonna look at everything today. So thanks to Brian on this one. Like the pathway for people to be able to connect in, and this is sort of looking at in an online way. We need to find ways to be able to reach people. We need to then, once we sort of reach people, help them to be able to connect in so that they've got a sense of belonging. And then we've got opportunities to share with them, to share the good news. And again, the online platforms are a tool to be able to do that. So the 5 areas that I want to sort of talk about and consider today are these ones here. So local community interactions, what I'm doing right now, just walking around my neighbourhood, and how we can empower our people to do that well. Now, a lot of this is fairly, there's, what was I going to say? Is more the face-to-face or dropping flyers in letterbox. So if you can still see my camera, I'll try and face this way a bit.
We can't see your camera at the moment, mate.
Oh, okay. No camera. Well, I've just got a flyer here.
If you stop screen sharing, we'll be able to see it though.
Yeah, and then I have to restart it again. That's the pain. Okay, I thought you'd be able to see my neighborhood. Okay, so I've got a flyer here. Maybe it's back to front. It's probably mirror image the wrong way. But I'll talk about this platform a little bit later. It's called Nextdoor, and it's just a way of connecting with neighbors. And they've got a template on here where you can sort of just fill out a little message and pop the flyer into people's letterboxes. Now, this isn't the only one by any means, but yeah, there are just really easy ways of, you know, helping our people to find creative ways to connect with their neighbors, both online and offline. So something like this is an offline flyer invitation. They can pop in people's letterboxes. They connect to the platform, which is called Nextdoor. And then there's lots of you know, things you can do in there to share ideas, to you know, if you need to have an offer to offer something to people, or it could be that you actually need help, and so people just pop something in there, and it's just in their local community. That's how the groups are set up, and so then people get notifications, get pinged, and you know, you can respond in a very timely and easy way. Now I'm walking south, which is why there's so much glare. So what I might do, just to make it a little bit nicer, around so you can see what I'm doing. Well, anyway,
we've got your gimbal in the way.
Oh, you sure do. Oh man, rookie error. Oh dear. Well, okay, that was a nice idea. You sort of get some of it anyway.
Nice gimbal though.
Right, well, it's a nice gimbal. It does the job. So we'll go back to sharing the presentation, which is probably going to be the pain. Okay, so it's the last time you see my face for a little while. That's a good thing. Diocese, connection points, share. Yeah, a little bit harder on the phone to do this sort of thing, but yeah, so I'm already sort of starting to dig into the points. But anyway, local community interactions, how we can utilize online resources to practically help people, how we can use our social media to share, and then how to facilitate online interactions so people have the social connection, so they still feel friendship, they can have fun together, and then the evangelical and spiritual aspect about what we can do. And you've, a number of you have already discussed how, you know, having prayer sessions online, connecting before and after church through Zoom, all those sorts of things. So we're all on the right track, which is really great. So let's look at the first one, the local community interactions. I've got a few links within these slides, and I'll be sharing these with you afterwards. And so you don't need to go to all these links right now, but they refer to the points I'm making here. So the first one is street groups. So there's a number of communities who have you know, gone around, you know, just their immediate street, their immediate neighbours, and set up WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups, whatever the dominant platform that people are using in your community to, you know, to connect together. And so then with those, you know, small groups, people can easily just message each other, you know, if they need anything. And it's just a very easy way of providing, you know, just support to one another in those communities. So that's the first link there. COVID Mutual Aid has resources about that. The next one is a calling card. And that's like the flyer that I showed you here before. Again, there's a lot of templates online. The Red Cross have a template in there to that you can share with your people so they can share it with their neighbours. The third one, this is a cool little one I saw in London, on a street in London, I think. And it's a traffic light system where all the neighbours in the street got a green and a red card that they would put in their windowsill out the front. So they would have a green, put out the green card if everything's fine. But if they needed help for something, they needed some assistance, they needed a delivery or groceries picked up or something like that, they would put the red card in their window So then a neighbour would see it and be able to pop past, g'day, and provide help in that way. Again, that's just such a really easy thing. Again, it's not so online and technical, but it's just a quick, easy way to show love and support to our immediate neighbours. And the fourth one there is the Nextdoor app, which I spoke about before. I've installed it. With all these things, it needs buy-in for it to work. So if you had like a lot of people who can connect into this app, which is available on all the phones and everything like that, you can share in that way. Now, it can get a little bit spammy. I turn off a number of notifications, but it could be useful potentially. And there are a few other apps that are similar to that. But I think that this one is being utilised quite a bit around the communities in Melbourne. Feel free to interject if you've got questions, or if you've got other ideas on these topics and things that you're implementing too. The next section, practical help, which again overlaps quite a bit with the local community stuff. So there are a lot of Facebook groups at the moment which provide a similar sort of thing, but they're a lot larger. There's a big one in Melbourne. It's called Love Your Neighbour Melbourne. I'm pretty sure, well, Brian might be on it. I'm pretty sure Brian's wife Bethany is on it. And people just offer things, and they've got a hashtag in there. At the start of every message, there's a hashtag, which is LYN, Love Your Neighbour. So it could be LYN help if they need something, LYN support, LYN thanks, LYN whatever else, and that's and there's within this Melbourne group, there's well over 10,000 people that have popped up just in the last month. And
give me a call. Bye.
Pardon?
I was going to jump in and say, yeah, we got yeast on it because every supermarket is completely sold out of yeast. My wife jumped on, said, this is what we need. And like 10 people, a whole bunch of people we didn't know, said, hey, we've got some, we can drop it off, or you can come and pick it up, or like basic things like that, which really is church mission stuff.
Yeah,
we're looking after and we're loving people, and it's an easy and great opportunity to do that. The other one, Ev, that we've seen is someone walked around their court and just gave a block of chocolate, I think it was a small bottle of wine, and a card that said, this is the WhatsApp group we're starting, and everyone in the street, except for 2 people, signed up to the WhatsApp group.
Love it.
And they now have more contact with their neighbours than they've ever had before.
Love it.
Which is
That's
super
the best.
cool.
Yeah, great. Love it. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, there's a lot of these, groups that, can join, whether you sort of just create a really small local one, or you join a larger one, and encourage your people to join the larger one. And, then these Love Your Neighbour groups, there's like the big Melbourne one, which can be a bit impractical when you're getting sort of, people who need help on the other side of town, which is impractical. But then there are a number of smaller ones as well. There are where might be based on the northern suburbs or the western suburbs. Some are more specific, like the Heidelberg Good Karma group or something like that. But there's a number of them. The next point is, you could set up an email address if you want. That's something like care at your church. So if that's a way of just making yourself available and you want to help people connect. So this is useful, if you've got, a pastoral support team, or, a team where, they cook meals for people, that sort of thing. And people just need quick, immediate help within your community. And, if that might be a way, if they can't connect to you directly, making that available through your website. The next one, online request form. This is a little bit similar. There's a system called Hey Neighbour, HEYNABOR. It's a free platform that it just provides a fairly elaborate request form that can then get pinged off to particular people who then get assigned to, help, just provide practical help to people. And, that might be a little bit overkill, but again, it's just another way of setting something up. It's very quick and easy on your website where people can, if they need immediate help and you've got a few people in place as a pastoral support, you can do that. The fourth point, food request. There's a number of platforms that have like free meal planning and meal rostering for people in need. And traditionally this would be used for people who have been in hospital, or maybe someone who's had a baby, or if someone's died in the family and they just need that practical support of providing meals. There's a number of platforms that do that for free. I don't have my notes in front of me now. Take Me a Meal or something like that. There's several of them. I can provide you the links for that when I get back home. Brian, do you know any off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head for food requests, no. But yeah, they're pretty easy to find. Yeah,
so it's just like a family's in need. They need meals for 2 weeks or something like that, and then you just get your community to pop in there and put their name against the night of the week to provide a meal and drop it off. It's pretty simple. The last one, emergency volunteer. Red Cross have emergency volunteer things for people who want to then get to more practical helping. It's more than an individual than a larger group. But if you've got people in your community who want to be able to serve further, it's not quite the SES, but it's just more simple things like helping those in need and at risk, and sort of more larger group and a more coordinated effort. So again, I can provide that link afterwards. Susan, I think Red Cross have emergency food packages for those in isolation. Yeah, so it'd be part of that. It'd be preparing those packages, dropping them off. That would be one big way that they're serving in that way at the moment. Cool. Next one, social media. Can you give me a vocal indication if you have a social media platform, whether it's something like a Facebook page, a public page, or Facebook groups?
Yep. So I'm getting thumbs up from Susan, Matthew, Shane's nodding.
Yep. Great.
Anthony's
cool. Okay.
Kind of, not really sure.
Yeah, that's fine. All good. Thank you. So yeah, social media. This is a time to really harness that as a platform, just for sharing things throughout the week. If that's and more than just saying we've got church coming up this Sunday, make sure you join us at 10 a.m. or whatever it is. So you've got your Facebook pages, which are public facing, and you may have closed groups for just specifically for congregations or mission or small groups or something like that. And really, these, particularly the public facing ones, there's such good opportunities to be sharing good news, and it doesn't have to be it can be things like Bible verses or sermon quotes or something like that, but it can also be a way just to inspire people, provide hope, sharing testimonies, and just really local grassroots good news stories that people in your community have. So you could even set up a way for people in your community to share. They might email you something, or your church offers something, or just a story of a random act of kindness that they've seen in their community, or not so random. And that could be anonymous, or it could just be first name, whatever people want, however you want to set it up. And you just share, a couple of these, 1 or 2 stories each week, as a way of both encouraging your community, but also just showing, beyond your community, that you just got people who really love and care, and and that we've got a message of hope. Sounds a little bit like Light FM, but ultimately that's what we want to do. And social media is a great platform to be able to do that. It doesn't have to be long and tedious and hard. You know, you could easily, you know, if you've got your phone and you've got a video camera, which all of you do, you can, you know, just shoot a little 1 or 2 minute snippet throughout the week, just as an encouragement to people. There's lots of ideas there, and I'd love to hear if you've got anything else to share as well. I think Susan had something pop up. Chat. On Facebook, some of our families have shared with their families overseas, and I share service times, etc. Yeah, great.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
The other thing we're seeing, Ev, and I love that Ev's out in his neighbourhood, is the churches that I'm working with that are doing things in the church building and broadcasting that versus doing things out in the neighbourhood and out in home. It's really helping people realise the church is not just the building, but the church is the people of God on the mission for the kingdom of God. And so when people are out in their neighbourhood doing things, it's actually encouraging church members to go, oh yeah, I can go out in my neighbourhood and do things. So yeah, we're seeing a huge response of testimonies and good news stories that are out in the world are getting people out in the world. And it's really, really good to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it can be even, you know, simple things like, you know, the kids you know, draw some, you know, lovely pictures of rainbows and some, you know, little messages of hope on the footpath, and you take, you know, some photos of that, and, you know, that gets shared, and people, it just gives a little spark to people's days, encourages them, and like Ryan said, that then inspires people to go out and do it for themselves, because it's not hard to do. And, you know, I think kids have so much to teach us, and that we can learn from them, and just their simplicity, just their uninhibited nature. You know, it's easy to make my brother, you know, he does a lot of funny posts on Facebook, and he gets a few likes or whatever, but the moment he posts a picture of his daughter, or I post a picture of my kids, I get 100 likes, or he gets 100 likes. So you add a kid, or you add, you know, a kid's story, or you know, a pet, cats and dogs, something to do with that. People just love to see that. You know, in the midst of a dark time, people just love those little snippets of, you know, hope and joy and humanity. So don't underestimate those little things along the way. It can be as simple as taking a photo, writing a little one sentence, and that takes about a minute to do, and you just share it. And if you do that consistently, you know, 2-3 times a week, you're creating part of that community online, you're creating a presence, and people respond to that. And it just shows, particularly on the public facing things, it shows that you're active, that you care, you know, that, whoops, I'm shifting things, you know, and you're just playing your part in the community. And now is the best time of all to show that our church, we're just, you know, the church is, amidst so much stuff that's gone on in the last few years, that we're, you know, just real people who just want to love and serve well. We just want to be good citizens, so we don't need to be a hero. We're just here to, you know, play our part in the world that needs hope in this time. Making sense?
Yep.
Can we do
Lots
this?
of nods.
Can we do this? Yes, we can. Cool. So next one then, social connection, providing opportunities for your communities to be able to connect together. And we've discussed a couple of those ways with, you know, having, you know, sessions either before or after church for people just to connect in with each other, potentially having like a virtual welcome desk where, particularly if you've got new people joining in your Sunday services, that you can just welcome them more personally afterwards. And I'm hearing, you know, wonderful stories of people who either haven't been to church in a long time, or, you know, a mother whose son hasn't come to church for 20 years, who's now coming and joining online, particularly during the Easter period. And then you've got the platform to be able to connect with them before, or sorry, during or afterwards. So yeah, don't underestimate that. I'm sure a lot of us are already using Zoom for small groups, and that's a good thing. If you need help with setting that up, then you can refer back to a previous session we did on running Zoom meetings effectively. And the good thing about Zoom is you can set up those sort of meetings for free. You don't have to have a paid account necessarily, so it's easy for people to get that up off the ground without too much of a learning curve and too many resources. Don't underestimate, as we said before, having video calls or phone calls with people if you're sick of being on Zoom calls. Encouraging people just to write letters again and email to people. It's almost a forgotten art these days, but that does play, has a big impact. My wife's Nan, who's 95, she loves getting a card in the mail. So again, I'm straying from the online platform, but yeah, we can do these things, particularly if people have more time, just a way of demonstrating love. And then for groups, I think I mentioned in another session, finding creative ways of connecting and having like a theme for some time together. People are having virtual dinner parties and dressing up and sharing dinner over Zoom. People are having watch parties where they watch a TV show together, but in their own separate lounge rooms, or a movie. And you could do the same thing with like the MSO each Thursday night have been live streaming from the Melbourne Town Hall. And if you've got a group of people who love classical music, you can connect around that together and watch that together. And then there are a lot of online games as well where you can just have fun. You can have Zoom playing so you can see each other's reactions, but still, you can play Scrabble or Pictionary or all those sorts of, traditional games that you play offline. There are lots of online versions of those games and a lot of card games as well. So that could be just something that you very casually set up for people to just join together in this way. Again, just find interests that your people are into. And then, the fifth sort of section just is around, helping people connect beyond Sunday, but still with a focus on Christ, on sharing the good news, and providing spiritual support to people. So Alpha have got a lot of resources to be able to continue the Alpha course online, and I've got a bunch of links there where they sort of provide the steps on how you can do that effectively, and it's been done by hundreds of groups around the world already. So that's if you've done Alpha courses in the past, that can be a really good way of taking people on their spiritual journey, taking the next step. So it's more than just we're being nice people in the community, but you can then have those tangible conversations with people about Christ and the good news. At St. Hilary's, they've set up an email address, it's just a way of, if people have prayer requests, they can send that in. And as I think it was Ian, I couldn't see before, but I think it was Ian who's mentioned having prayer meetings online on Zoom. And you can do that prayer and worship nights as well. Susan said something about the ballet.
Yep, so the Australian Ballet are having an online season, and Andrew Lloyd Webbers has released a whole bunch of his musicals as well. Yep,
and there's going to be more and more of that, in the months ahead. And so just using those as opportunities to, let's just do something together. That's really great. Cool, I'm about 200 meters from home. And let's talk for a bit. Let's stop sharing the screen.
Have you found any rainbows yet, Ev?
No, my kids did a bunch, I don't know, a week or two ago. It looked great, but it washed off. But apparently, if you cover it in some sort of oil or you spray it with something, it can be quite more permanent, but it might be a little bit dodgy to do that.
Can I show you can I show you one?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is a local artist near us.
Yep.
Can everyone see that one?
Yeah, wow.
Oh,
That's gorgeous.
So
Wow.
she's done The Terrace at Night by Van Gogh.
Wow.
And I was chatting to her the other day, and she said simply by putting the little @ tag at Eyeball Butter, which is her artist thing on, I don't know what platform it is, Twitter or whatever, not Twitter, whatever it is, Instagram. I don't know, I don't use it. She said she's had so much local attention. And I was like, yeah, if we had creative people in churches doing the same thing, just put a little tag there, it gets a lot of extra cool attention. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. It shouldn't be hard to find, a few closet artists in your midst. Maybe you just didn't know that someone's really got a gift for that sort of thing. Just ask the question, what do people like to do to express themselves? That's so inspiring. Love it. My son just rode past on his bike. I didn't even know he went out on his bike alone. Wow. Okay. That's what happens when the cat's away.
just a basic question. How do you set up the Zoom meetings after, say, a live stream YouTube worship?
Yeah, well, you can just set up another room and you schedule that. So you can provide that link to people at the end of the service, and you've got that one scheduled and ready to go.
Okay.
And if you've got, one or two other people who can co-host that, so you don't have to, set that up yourself and worry about it. I don't have the key. You need to do it yourself.
We've also got Ev ran full training on how to set up and host Zooms. So those are they?
Where would you access those?
Yeah, are they available on the parish portal? Yeah,
they will be any day now. So I've provided the links to all that, and it's just a matter of someone in there setting it all up. You put it back, please.
Yeah, so there's how to host a Zoom. There's a whole bunch of other ones. So similar to this, these are all recorded, and they become available once our IT guys get it up on the parish portal.
Yep. What else? I can see all of you now. Hello.
I'm keen to see this device you've been using.
Yeah.
Everything it is.
Yep, great. Okay, so this is called a gimbal. And it looks like this, and I've just connected my phone to it. I can do all sorts of funky things, and it actually gives when you're walking, instead of getting that jerky bounce in the video.
You just muted yourself, bud.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Sorry about that. Definitely mute that. Okay, so it. So funny. Take that out. So it smooths out the video, so it doesn't look like a jerky bounce. And then it can also, I'm just pushing a button and it tilts it up and down that way. And when I rotate the handle, it smoothly then turns it around as well. So it's pretty funky. And I picked this up secondhand for about $70. It had hardly been used, and it's also charging my phone at the same time, so it doesn't run out of juice too quickly. Yep.
Oh.
So it's just called a gimbal. It's a 3-axis gimbal. There's lots of different ones now that do that. I'm in the dark ages. Yeah, there we go.
Does that extend at all, or?
So I just bought this the other day for another $15, which is an extension handle. It connects underneath, and this then can extend further as well. Yeah.
So Ev can socially isolate from himself the good 1.5 meters.
Exactly. Gimbal, Gimbal. BAL, Brian. What's that Indonesian dish? Gimbal, what's that?
Sambal?
That one, yeah.
You're using your phone then. Do you need, I'm using my laptop. Do you need, and I found that you need X number of people registered for YouTube if you're using your mobile. Is that different for Zoom?
Yeah, it is different for Zoom. So yeah, if you're wanting to live stream for YouTube, you need to have, I think, 1,000 subscribers. If you're live streaming from YouTube on your mobile, that's different to if you're doing it in the church, on your laptop or wherever you are. For Zoom though, like it's just whatever you've paid for with your account. So up to 100 people on a free or a pro account.
Okay, so it's the same as, no different from mobile to...
No, that's right. Now, the problem today was when I was sharing my screen, I couldn't see you and you couldn't see me. You're much more limited with the screen real estate here. Yeah. I can only see 4 people here at the moment.
Yep. But having a producer or co-host helps that a lot. So I'm able to relay to Evan what's happening.
Okay, got it.
And you can live stream via Zoom to either YouTube or Facebook. So that the people watching on Zoom can watch and the people watching on Facebook can watch, but I can't remember how to do it.
We've only just got up to YouTube. This is a steep learning curve for an oldie like me.
It's a steep learning curve for everyone.
Yep.
And I really encourage having a look through Evan's videos when they become available. Really, really useful stuff. And we are running more of these as well.
Yep. So this is going to be the last one in the series, but I think we're going to do 3 or 4 more potentially as well.
Yeah, we're repeating some of the basic ones as well.
Yep. Great. Other ideas, suggestions?
Evan, a bit of a tangent to what we were saying earlier. There is a very helpful new book just come out by the Christian writer John Lennox. It's called, what's it called? Where is God in a Coronavirus World? And it's well worth listening to. I say advisedly listening to. I don't know whether it's available in print in Australia yet. He wrote it just a couple of weeks ago, in isolation. And it's available on Audible as of yesterday. But I do commend it to people for a thoughtful response to where we are in this coronavirus pandemic. It lasts for about an hour and a half. And I'm writing a review of it now, which I'm going to publish in my parish. But also I'm going to send it to the TMA as well and see whether they're interested in putting it online. But I do commend it as a thoughtful response. John Lennox is he's emeritus professor of mathematics at Oxford, and he has written extensively about this. Yes, and I'll put the details onto the chat now.
Excellent.
So you can pre-order on Kurong, and it's also available on Audible, which I'll grab a link and put it in chat as well.
Yeah, Audible is where I've listened to it. Yeah.
Great. That's great. Thank you, Ian. And that's again, like, it's not irrelevant at all. That's, a way that we can help people to, start to see a little bit of hope and make sense in this really difficult time. That could be a good connection point, as a pathway into something like Alpha as well, where you get your community to share this resource with people, and then if they want to take the conversation further, move to something like Alpha. That's great, Ian. So, yeah, like, what are the take-home points from today? What's the thing that's stood out to you that you might like to try and implement?
I suppose there's a huge range of ideas that we can implement. And I suppose we've just got to look at the resources that we've got and just have that energy to be able to put all these into place. I just find it valuable being on a platform like this, just harnessing ideas that I can apply in various ways. So not one particular, but altogether they all fit in, I'd say.
Is there one that seems simple, low-hanging fruit?
I suppose we've been over each week, we've sort of been as a church implementing different things. But I do like the idea of having a chat, like whether it's an afternoon tea, just getting people together and just having those conversations. Because it's one thing to, well, people are starting to miss interaction, seeing people face to face, and this is the second best thing that we can implement to help our congregations.
Well, two things for me. One is just having the Zoom meeting after our worship. We've only gone live for the last 2 Sundays, but now we'll just up the ante a little bit and give people the opportunity to just hang around in a Zoom meeting. But I think the practical stuff, it's not rocket science, but adding the prayer at my church's email address or the care at my church's email address, and then getting that out to the neighbourhood is low-hanging fruit, not hard, not difficult, and something I can do this week. So I should have thought of it before, but having it come up, yeah, it makes sense, and it is of practical help. We're just hanging in there, I've got a congregation where 30% of my congregation don't have access to a computer. I mean, the only stuff they've got is the phone. So we're still hard copy liturgies and doing delivery to them Sunday by Sunday. So that's for 47 people. I mean, it's just what we're doing today is beyond the thought of a lot of my congregation. So I'm just hanging in there trying to keep things together. But for the other 70% of my congregation, they're eager for more face-to-face stuff. So having the live worship, which was a great advance for us, and then people saying it was the first time they felt connected again, just seeing the interior of our church. I mean, it's one thing to worship online at other churches and cathedrals and things, but to actually see the interior of the church where they think it's sacred space was fantastic. Now, having the opportunity to say, okay, we've done that, why don't you give us 10 minutes to get out of our clobber, and we'll all get a virtual coffee together and have a chat about how that was for you. Yeah. That's given me a lot of hope this morning for sending to my congregation that are online.
Terrific. Thanks, Shane. So, Shane, are you using Zoom or another platform for your Sunday services?
We're using just YouTube. We're just using it off my laptop. We've had some sound issues because we were using the organ as well, and it overwhelmed my poor microphone. But we've got we've got some tech people who are working on, I've got to download some software, OSG or OBG or something on
OBS, yep.
OBS, thank you. To help with the audio, and we've got a Yeti microphone as well to pick up the audio. So it's a work in progress. We're only 2 weeks in. By the end of this, we'll be perfect. But no, so yeah, it's just simple my laptop YouTube platform.
That's great. Yeah, and so another thing to consider, in case you weren't aware, that with Zoom you can actually phone in to hear the audio from a Zoom meeting. And so with that, there's potential for you, particularly if you're going to be setting up the OBS, is to then take the audio that's coming from YouTube, or even capturing it beforehand in your desk or whatever it's going through, and putting that into a Zoom meeting that is specifically set up for your congregants who have phone to dial in so they can hear the audio live from your church service on a Sunday.
That's fantastic.
And again, that's free as well. You probably want to pay your $21 a month to get a Zoom Pro account, so you don't get cut off after 40 minutes. But again, people can dial in and they're hearing it live, and you can still give them the handout so they can follow along in that way as well.
But they can phone in to the Zoom of the meeting. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had really thank you for that.
Yeah, and I discussed that in another Zoom meeting before, and I'm going to be giving one in the next couple of weeks about advanced features of Zoom. So I'm going to go over that phone feature as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, I guess I can share a little. Social media would probably be the iffy thing where in this time, I guess, we're carefully looking at what's our appearance online, our website, and then what other groups are people already using which haven't been joined together. Everyone has their own little circles, people that they might be messaging here and there, but yeah, maybe to launch something with a couple of people that like doing this stuff and taking charge and being commissioned that way would be great.
Yeah, excellent. If you've got a couple of young people in your church who have who might have the capacity and a bit of the know-how, you need to provide parameters, of course, on the language and the tone and how you want things done. But just with some of that guidance in place, it means then that you're not doing all the work, and they're you're empowering them to be active in a way that they might not have considered before. Great platform and great opportunity for them as well.
And it's ongoing, sort of. Once we're meeting again in person, that's hard work's done. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Anthony.
I loved, Susan picked up on it, the don't be a hero is incredibly important. Just pick one thing, Ed called it low-hanging fruit, one thing you can do, one person you can empower, because doing a care package for your neighbours left and right of you is really, really simple with here's my phone number, if you need anything, call. Like just about most congregation members can do that, and yet the impact of that is huge on a local community. Did see that you'd launched.
Yep.
And the prayer at your church, things like that, they're really, really simple things that don't require a lot and yet make a big difference.
Yep, it's good. Again, here's that flyer I had before. I mean, people can just write their own one anyway. Please join your neighbours or next door or whatever. You don't have to use this app at all. I've just got my phone number and I'm saying I'm from number 16. And here's my name and number. This is probably too small actually for people who are hard of sight to read. So I realised sort of after I'd done the drop off half the street.
Where was you mentioned the template for that? Where was that before?
Yes. So that was in the platform called nextdoor.com. There are a number of them out there. So I will share them with you in the email afterwards. Nextdoor template. Post templates for neighbours. I'll just put that in the chat window now, actually.
Thanks.
That's not very helpful, that link. Probably worth reading the link first. COVID neighbour template. Printable postcards. Yeah, there are lots of them around. Here's a better one. I've just Googled COVID neighbour template. Really simple. Jackie, any thoughts? You're still muted though.
Sorry. I think this is going to encourage me to actually think about asking the parishioners if they want to maybe have a Bible study online. we had some Bible study groups, but obviously they've closed down because of this. And I'm also going to check out Neighbour. It's a bit difficult for me because the church is in a whole block, and then across the road I have a school. So I don't really have immediate neighbours. I know the people behind me. And I think really maybe encourage people to get together and discuss the service. And of course, make complimentary remarks about the vicar. Yeah, that's it really. Still thinking, still processing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
So.
Cool. Susan, anything on your end? I know you put a couple of comments in the chat window.
And you're muted, Susan.
Yes, I'm just unmuting myself. I just think it's really important for us to look after ourselves in all of this. We have to be really careful. We don't give ourselves a burden to make ourselves superheroes. God doesn't want us to be superheroes. God just wants us to be us. And if the best gift we can give is ourselves, can we give a better gift? And we do need to be so mindful of our own mental health, because that is so important. It's really easy to fall apart at the moment, and I've had several occasions where I have just, completely lost it, and it's really hard going. It might be a song on the radio or something. There've been other things happening in my life. I've got a son who's in musical theatre, and yesterday it would have been the end of the season of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in Brisbane. It never got to open, but he had all these pictures up, and he was a swing, so he did 9.5 roles in that. So he actually had pictures up on Facebook of all the different roles that he did. Now that was great, but it left me a blubbering mess. But it's also okay to have those times where we can feel safe to actually fall apart a little bit and then pick ourselves up again too.
Yep.
So that's just a bit about me personally.
You know what, I'm actually, I know it sounds dumb, but I'm actually...
We've been very fortunate with Jackie across the road there. Jackie is my parish priest, and her services have been wonderful. They have been spirit-filled. Her last service was filmed on her mobile telephone, and it was a great service. It was a fabulous service, and it was a simple service, and it just helps us to just tune in. We've also got to be careful we don't overload on social media. For example, with the news, I'm trying to watch the news once a day on the TV. That is actually enough. I'm not connected to my social media all the time because I'm just not sure that that's that really healthy as well. So we have to get this balance, and to find this balance and to find a bit of a new way of doing things, to find a routine. This program that you've been doing with us, Evan, over the last 5 sessions has been so helpful, because it actually helps us to get into the groove a little bit. Thanks, Evan.
You're doing all the hard work. Thank you, Susan, and thank you for just sharing and opening up to the reality for all of us. It's not it's not easy, and we've got feelings, and we're shouldering a lot of stuff too. So, and what I've shared today hopefully is not to give us more burden and things we have to do, but if we can do easy things that are particularly going to release our people with whatever capacity that they've got and in the context that you're in, then again, like just one of those little things that might be able to move us forward.
Well, we're running one.
And as a diocese, we're encouraging upping your contact with spiritual directors, coaches, mentors, all those sorts of things. We're saying at the moment, the most important thing you can do is actually up that contact. so that all of our vicars, all of our priests, everyone is actually regularly connecting with someone. So if you don't have anyone, flick me through a chat, flick me through an email. I'll help sort it out with Carol and the rest of the team, and we'll get people there.
Thanks, Brian. It's good. Ian, were you about to say something?
I was just about to say, Evan, thank you. I was just about to say how much I've appreciated these sessions that you've done with us and how they've managed to help me really we're dealing with, and in terms of the platforms that we're using and so on, and the ideas that I've had from so many people have been very, very helpful. I was thinking about the plague that happened in the Roman Empire in the 4th century, when the Roman emperor, I think it was Justinian, was somebody who was opposed to the Christian faith very, very strongly, and he was tearing his hair out because the Christians were the people who were getting good vibes from others because of their way in which they showed the love of God in the time of plague. And, you know, I pray that in our generation, that will be what we're listening down in the future, that this is where, you know, we have shown the grace and the kindness of God to others. But it is costly, as Susan has shown us.
It's a great encouragement. Thank you, Ian. Yep. Well, look, thank you everyone for participating today and for sharing openly. I didn't pray before, but I'd just love to pray for you all now.
Oh, before you do, Ev, before you do, because I know you won't do it and you know I will. Evan runs his own company. So as the diocese, we've hired Evan to come along for, I think, the next, I think you've got 2 weeks left in the contract, something like that. So he actually is brilliant at helping that next step in digital coaching. So it's digitalteamcoach.com, I believe. 90% sure on that one, 100% sure now, you're nodding. So while we've been really happy to bring Evan along to run this stuff, if you want to take that next step and ask those next questions, we really encourage you, get in contact with Evan. He does great work. That's why we've got him along doing this. And he can actually direct coach you for that one-on-one, that next sort of level of stuff. So, yep, we highly recommend Ev.
Thanks heaps, Brian. Great. Okay, let's just close in prayer. Oh, Heavenly Father, well, we just offer ourselves to you once again. Thank you for the privilege of being able to serve you and serve our communities, even in this time of great trial. I pray that you'll be giving us and filling us up with your strength, your courage, and your spirit to just love well, to use our resources wisely, to use our energy wisely. Please sustain each one of us. I thank you for Jackie, for Susan, Anthony, Ian, Brian, and everyone else on this call today. And please just use us for your kingdom and your glory. Amen.
Amen.
Excellent.
Amen.
Well, thank you all. Bless you. Please reach out. I am available to help further if you need. And yep, hopefully see you around the place anyway.
Thanks, Ev. It was so good seeing your neighbourhood.
Excellent. Great. Bless you all. See you later. Thank you.